Hi, so fighting games are pretty cool and awesome, right? I used to play a lot of them, but I never really got good at any of them. I still had a lot of fun with them though. Today I'm counting down my top 5 fighting games because I felt like it. Some of these games might be really unbalanced or like bad for competitive players, but I don't know about any of that. I'm just picking ones I had fun on. Also, I'm only picking one game per franchise, or most of the list would just be Tekken games, so let's go! Number 5 is Street Fighter 6. It actually took me a while to decide what Street Fighter to put on this list. 3 is super fun, has an awesome opening movie, a great soundtrack, and has beautiful sprite art. And the gameplay is really fun. The whole game just has a really cool sense of style, and it's awesome. But unfortunately, it doesn't have a whole lot of content, and most of the classic characters are missing. A lot of the newcomers are kinda cool though, so I still like the game a lot. I also thought about picking Street Fighter 4 since it was a big childhood game for me. It's super fun and has so many characters, and a lot of the music and stuff is really nostalgic, like the versus screen, and the menu theme where it goes woo, 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 woo. Also, the fighting is fun. I even considered picking 5 because I liked it quite a lot. I know a lot of people hate it, but I thought it was a lot of fun. There's so much content with the cinematic story mode, character stories for every character, and like 5 different arcade modes that all have different endings. There's also like hundreds of cool art pieces you can unlock in the gallery, and there's so many characters. This game was a big disappointment when it came out, but now it's been updated and had a lot of DLC, and it really makes it a great game. The DLC is also really cheap. You can even get the Championship Edition for cheaper than the base game on key shops. It was hard to decide, but I ended up going with 6 because it's a great looking, great playing game with so much content and personality. When I got this game, it was the first fighting game I played in a while, and it was amazing and showed such a bright future for the genre. There's a lot of single player content. There's a great arcade mode like normal, a mode called Extreme Battle where you can fight with different modifiers, and there's this thing called World Tour mode, which is this big Yakuza-like story mode where you make your own character, do side quests, play minigames like the pizza minigame, which teaches you how to do combos. You can also explore Metro City, which is the city from the Final Fight games. I'd never played Final Fight, but then I did, because in Street Fighter 6 you can play small Capcom games on arcade machines, which is really cool. I wish more games and stuff like that. It helps preserve old games, and it's just cool. The only other game I can think of that does that is Yakuza, which I love by the way. World Tour also has other countries that the fighters are from, but they're all tiny, except for Nashal and Metrocity. Also in World Tour, you can buy clothes and meet and train with the game's entire roster. You can even meet the DLC characters and use their fighting styles, even if you don't have the DLC. It really showcases the personalities of the different characters. You can message them and give them gifts and just have a ton of different interactions with them. Did you know that Luke is a gamer and hates RE8? Also, some of the texts are pretty funny and cool. This mode even has its own narrative where you make a character. You start off training with Luke and this guy called Bosch, but you meet a lot of other characters along the way, and some crazy stuff happens. There are sometimes really big difficulty spikes though, so you might have to do some grinding, which is annoying because leveling is super slow. Also, if you want to get all the interactions with the teacher characters, I would not recommend it. You'll literally be grinding World Tour mode for like 100 hours and it won't be very fun. The leveling is way too slow in my opinion. After like a full playthrough of World Tour doing a bunch of side quests, I only managed to level up like 4 or 5 styles. While I was planning to record for this video, there was a King of Fighters event thing going on in the World Tour, so I played it and unlocked Terry Bogard as a teacher. I don't know anything about KOF, and I only know Terry from Smash Bros, Capcom vs SNK, and the 10 Minutes of Garu I once played. But he seems pretty cool, and this is a pretty cool event. Also, is that Roxy in the background? If you're a beginner, the game has a lot of tutorials, and even ones for every specific character. For online, there's a battle hub thing where you can walk around, interact with other players, and fight them, either as your avatar or in regular matches. This place used to be very active when I first played, but when I was recording for this video, there was barely anyone there except for... ew. There's also ranked matches. I haven't played much of these, but they're fun. The game is also very stylish. A lot of the characters have really good designs, and there's really great art done by a lot of different artists. Also, the drive attacks have these cool paint splatter effects, and the special moves are pretty cool and have cool animations. Cammy is my main because she's cool and awesome, and she likes cats, and she's really fast and cool. She has a lot of fun high damaging moves. In this game, she also has a new outfit with this cool blue British flag jacket. A lot of the other characters have new designs as well, which is cool. Some of them are wearing the same clothes for like the past 20 years. I'm not a huge fan of Ken's design, but it looks better than his 5 design. I also preferred his old voice. David Matranga does a really good job, but I just thought Ruben Langdon's voice fit better with the character.
Let's turn up the heat!
The voice acting on the whole is super good in this game, and all of the VAs do a really great job. In the game, a lot of the characters feel really diverse in the moves and the way they control, and with the amount of variety, you'll probably be able to find the character you like. The game also has modern controls, which is an option designed to be easier for newcomers. The new characters are pretty cool too. I like Jamie and Manon and Luke, who's voiced by Alex Lee, who's a really great voice actor who I'm a big fan of. You should watch his stream games, he's very funny and epic. Luke and Jamie's rivalry is also pretty cool and entertaining, and JP is a pretty intimidating and good villain. I said before the characters' personalities are shown in World Tour, but that's not the only place they're seen. Even on the character select menu, everyone has cool unique animations showing their different personalities and interests. Cammy has a cat, Manon does some exercise with a chair, Kimberly hangs off the ceiling and listens to music, and Dalsim curls up into a ball. When you start a versus match, a cool animation plays with both characters walking to the arena. It even shows some stats about the fighters, like their likes and dislikes, which shows even more of their personalities. Cammy hates everything when she's grumpy, and she likes cats, but we already knew that. Also on the actual versus screen, you can press different directions to change the character's expression, which I really like. In the actual matches, you can also have a commentator. You can pick from a few options, which is kinda cool, but I don't usually have the commentator on. I just like to hear the regular game's music and sound. This game also has some pretty cool, nice looking stages with a lot of colour and variety. So yeah, in conclusion, this game is very cool and you should play it. Hit the streets! Next up is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, or as it's called in Japan, Persona 4 The Ultimax Ultra Suplex Hold, which is an insane title. I really love Persona 4. It's one of my favourite games ever. It has such an interesting narrative, with a great setting and amazing characters, and it's probably my favourite JRPG. I also love fighting games, and the combination of two things I love results in a great looking 2D fighter with super fun gameplay. There's so much depth and variety and a huge amount of style, which is expected from a Persona game. There's also a big amount of story content, but I haven't experienced any of it since I was trying to avoid P3 spoilers. I do want to play the story stuff once I finish P3 though. It seems pretty cool. It has the 3 and 4 casts interacting, and it kind of acts as a sequel to both games. It'd be great seeing all the characters again. Because of me not playing the story, I spent most of my time versing people on local co-op and playing the Golden Arena mode, which is this mode where you can level up and get different skills while you go through a bunch of fights. You can also pick different navigators like Fuka, Nanako, Orise, and more. In terms of online, I haven't really tried it, but when I was recording for this video, I couldn't even get into a match, even though this is a relatively recent remaster. You can also make a little profile thing called online called a P card. But the options I unlocked for my title thing were kind of weird and limited. I couldn't manage to make a cool one. Mine ended up being the all-powerful Mythic Homework. This game also has really great music, like all Persona games. It has a lot of the incredible music from different versions of Persona 3 and Persona 4, and even Persona Q music is included. And there's great new music. On the main menu, different characters can say the game title and stuff, which is a nice touch. A lot of the characters feel really diverse and fun to play as. They all have a bunch of moves, and there's a ton of variety and things that can happen in the match. This game has a lot of mechanics and stuff to keep track of, which can make it really hard. This is probably the game I'm second worst at on the list, but I still like it though, even though it's very complicated. I tried doing the tutorials and the specific character ones, but then I forgot everything. Unlike most Persona games, this one doesn't have a very good opening. The song's fine, but it just isn't that great. It's mostly just some simple shots introducing each character while they do like a move or pose. But I think it would have been better if they showed more cool stuff like fights and character interactions. I've even played this game with people who aren't fans of Persona and still had a great time, dashing around, hitting each other, summoning Personas and doing insta-kill moves. Every character has one and they're pretty cool. This game is epic. The game also has a pretty good roster with pretty much all the Persona 4 characters you'd expect, and a good chunk of the Persona 3 crew. Unfortunately, there's no Makoto or Kotone. There's even a few new characters who are Labris and Sho Minazuki. I like Labris a lot and they're both really fun to play as. Also, what's kind of funny is that Nanako and Dojima were apparently meant to be playable in the game. Toshimichi Mori, who produced the game and the BlazBlue series, which I don't know anything about, pitched that idea to Atlus, but they weren't happy with it. I don't know why, but I randomly thought while playing this that a Solia game in this style would actually be very awesome and epic. And now that I think about it, a JoJo game like this could be awesome too. Even though I played this game for a while, I don't even have a specific main yet. I usually just play as a lot of different characters. Like, spoiler for Persona 4, Yuna Arakami, Marie, Labris, Mitsuru, Elizabeth, Chie, or Sho. But pretty much all the characters are fun to play as. There's also a pretty fun mode called Golden Arena where you can level up and get skills and stuff, and I'm just realizing I already talked about that at the start. Ultimax is actually the second Persona 4 Arena game. The first one was just called Persona 4 Arena, except in Japan where it's called Persona 4, the Ultimate Imayanako Arena. I haven't played the first, but it seems extremely similar, just with less characters. The story content of 4A is also included in the modern release of Ultimax, so I don't think there's much reason to play it nowadays. Also, while recording for this video, I realized the arcade mode has voice story stuff as well, giving this game even more single player content. This game also looks great and has so much colour and flashy effects and cool stuff going on. The sprite art looks so good and the backgrounds are great too. Paired with the great music, it makes playing the game a really good experience. Next up is another childhood game for me, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. My brother was the one who wanted this game, and we had a lot of fun playing it on PS3. I'm not really a big Marvel fan, but I'm a fan of quite a lot of Capcom franchises, like Resident Evil, Mega Man, Street Fighter, Dead Rising, Ace Attorney, and Devil May Cry, all of which are represented in this game. The roster is pretty good in this game, but there was a few characters who I'd never heard of, but there's also some popular ones, like Phoenix and Phoenix. This game has Virgil, Dante, and Trish, which is awesome, because I'm a huge fan of Devil May Cry. These characters are awesome and work really well in the fighting game. This game is a 3v3 tag team fighter, and my usual team is Dante, Virgil, and Zero from Mega Man X. I'm a big fan of Mega Man X and Zero games as well, actually, and Zero is so cool and awesome. I just finished Mega Man Zero 4 recently, actually. Damn. I also like to play as Deadpool sometimes, he's pretty cool and funny. The intro of this game isn't that good. It has some cool visuals, but it's just kind of boring. The opening for the non-ultimate version is much better in my opinion, and I only remembered that one, even though I never played that version of the game. It shows the characters actually fighting, which I think is better than these admittedly cool freeze frame things. It also has much better music. I love this bit where Deadpool and Dante fight, I watched it like a bajillion times. This game doesn't have much of a story, but there is a very short digital comic about the game that you can view in the gallery. Speaking of the gallery, a whole MVC art book is included as a bonus, which is really cool. Oh yeah, here's a custom box art for the game I made based on the Sonic 3 art. It's kinda cool, I think. The menus showcase the different Marvel and Capcom characters fighting or just interacting, which is cool and exactly what you want from a crossover. This is probably the game I'm worst at on the list. Even my mom's beaten me just by button mashing as Virgil. Even when you're being beaten up, flashy effects and sounds still make it kinda fun to watch. The combos and stuff are really complicated, and it's hard to quickly apply what you've learned into a fight. A lot of times my opponent just goes flying into the air and I don't know what to do. I just wait for them to fall, but I think there's like a lot of air combos and stuff that I don't know about. I tried to play online once and I died instantly. I couldn't even get a hit in. Apparently, this game has some pretty cool mods, but I haven't tried any yet. As for modes, this game has a standard arcade mode where you fight Galactus at the end, who's a pretty hard boss. You can actually unlock him to play as in this Galactus mode, which is pretty cool, except I hate playing as him. I don't think the arcade endings are that great, since they usually just have like 2 pictures with some text, but they have some pretty cool concepts, like Phoenix Wright taking Galactus to court after defeating him, or Zero becoming a Silver Surfer. There's also Heroes and Heralds mode, where you collect cards and do fights to like save the world or something. And there's like a bingo card thing. I don't know much about it, I never really played it that much, but all the enemies you fight have this metallic texture to them. Some of the cards are kinda cool though, since they show some obscure characters, like the guy from God Hand. I forgot his name. This game is super fun and cool. Number 2 is Tekken 8. This game is amazing. I've been a huge fan of Tekken ever since I was a little kid playing Tekken 4 and 5 on PS2. Tekken 6 came out when I was a baby, but for some reason, we never got that one. We'd kind of switched to being a Street Fighter family by then, and we didn't get a Tekken again until a few years after 7 came out. Unless you count Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which is basically just Street Fighter 4 with Tekken characters. It also has Pac-Man, Toro and Kuro, and Mega Man, which sounds cool. But then you actually get a look at him in the game, and it's the bad American box art version of Mega Man. No. I do want to go back and play 6 and Tag 2 eventually, since they're the only main Tekken games I haven't played, and they seem pretty cool. Tag Tournament 2 seems to have tons of characters, and 6 has a beat-em-up style campaign mode. I have actually played the PSP version of 6, which is quite fun, but it's missing the story mode. There's also a PSP version of 5, which is very epic. It has more characters than the PS2 version, who are from the PS3 version, but for some reason the PS3 version cuts out the story content and some other stuff, even though the PSP version has it. 5 was my favourite for many years, until Tekken 8 came out. Tekken 8 is awesome, it's so cool, and it's epic. There's so many characters, all of which have an absurd amount of moves, and are super fun to play. The graphics are amazing, and there's a bunch of possibilities and things that can happen in a match. The story is also super incredible and amazing, and so good. So many scenes are amazing, and the final battle was so amazing. Probably one of the best final battles in all media. It's so good, oh my god. This is my favourite story mode in any fighting game ever. Even better than Mortal Kombat 9, which is my old favourite. This game also has a great opening cutscene which I never skip. I must have watched it like 100 times now. It's amazing. I also love Tekken 5's opening, which is probably my favourite. What does the word peace mean? There should only be a smiling face. I also always thought Tekken Tag Tournament's opening was very cool. The character customization in 8 is quite epic, but I just wish there were more free options, because I really like customizing characters. Once I even went to my friend's house and we played Tekken 7, but then I spent like an hour creating character customizations and he got mad at me. This game is great, but it's kind of annoying how monetized it is. It was like £55 when it came out, and now it has an item shop with admittedly cool cosmetics, and battle passes, that both cost real money, and lots of it. The game is also apparently very buggy and unbalanced, but I'm not a competitive player so I don't really know about balancing. but I haven't experienced many bugs. Despite these issues, this game is very good and high quality and has so many great characters who are super fun to play. Most of the returning characters have great new designs as well, except for Paul. I really don't like his hair. They should have just had his hair from 4, it would have been a lot better. The newcomers are also really cool, better than some of 7's, like who even was Christina? I forgot she existed. I was a Jim main as a kid, and I still think he's awesome, but ever since I played the games with Lily, I switched to playing as her, because she's super fun to play as, and she goes ha 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 ha. I'm actually kind of good as her. Not good enough to get into high ranks on online or anything, but good enough to beat the AI and to defeat my friends and family. I also really like playing as Jun too, and it was really great to see her back in this game. Also, Reina is very cool. She's one of my favorite characters to play as, and she's better than Heihachi. I think that's probably an unpopular opinion, but I was never a big fan of Heihachi, and Reina's cool and has a cool design, and she's awesome. I like how she switches from pretending to be all friendly to being all violent and having a much more aggressive voice. Her voice actor did a really great job. In terms of modes, this has character episodes with endings, which are basically like an arcade mode. It's good, but I don't like how most of the characters' fights take place on the same map. The endings are pretty good and they have really good graphics. This game also has Tekken Ball mode from Tekken 3, which is okay. I don't love it and I don't play it much, but it's a little fun. There's no Tekken Force mode, but there is a chapter of the story mode where the Tekken Force style gameplay comes back, and it's a super cool and fun moment. There's also a new story mode focusing on the DLC characters, but it only came out like a month ago, so I won't spoil it. You can even still play it if you don't have the DLC, which is nice of them. There's also a photo mode, but even though I usually love these, I haven't actually used it that much for some reason. If I remember correctly, it's quite limited. In Tekken 8, you can also pick any character to be on the main menu, which is cool. Tekken has had a lot of good music throughout the years, and in this game, you can pick from all the game's soundtrack, which is cool. For the online hub and for this weird arcade quest mode, which is kind of like a bad version of Street Fighter's World Tour, you make an avatar, and I don't like them at all. They all look weird, and I don't like them. This game is pretty fun online, and it's not that old, so it's very active. Ghost Battle mode is also kind of fun, but for some reason, all the ghosts are really easy to defeat. Even Haradas, who's the only one with the Tekken God rank, is really easy to defeat for some reason, even though I suck online. This game has super good graphics, and the animations are so good, and it's insane. The fights look so good with the different moves and effects, it's so cool. How did they do this? You should play it. Number 1 is Guilty Gear Xrd. Rev 2. This game is so cool and fun, and the roster is filled with awesome unique characters with crazy designs. They're mostly all super fun to play as and have extremely diverse deep movesets. I don't know anyone who even knows about this game apart from people I've shown it to, but it's awesome. I highly recommend it. It's also on sale right now, so you should play it. The graphics are amazing. I thought they were 2D for a sec when I first saw it, but like Dragon Ball FighterZ, another great game by the same developer, it's actually 3D models, emulating a 2D anime art style, which is so cool. The stage backgrounds are also really great looking. I haven't played Strive yet, but I probably will eventually because it seems awesome. And Bridget is in it, and she's awesome and so cool and epic. She was my main in Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus, which is another insane title. It's an older sprite-based Guilty Gear, which is pretty good. I like the survival mode, and a lot of the sprites look really good and are super well animated. Also, Lucy from Cyberpunk Edgerunners is going to be a DLC fighter for Strive, which is crazy and super cool. If you haven't seen Cyberpunk Edgerunners, it's so good. It's one of my favorite anime. A lot of anime games end up being generic arena fighters, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it would be awesome if they made more anime games as 2D fighters with this style of graphics. I would love that. I also think a Smash Bros 2D fighter like that would be amazing. I think they should put Ryuko from Kill la Kill, Haruko from Fooly Cooly, and Simon from Gurren Lagann in Strive next, because that would be awesome. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Also, Soul Bad Guy in Tekken would be cool. Soul Bad Guy is the main character of Guilty Gear, by the way, and he's a good guy. It's Soul Bad Guy. In Xrd, I like Baiken, who's this cool samurai lady. I usually play as her, but I like to play as Kai Kisuke and a few other characters as well, like Johnny and Soul, and Jacko, and Alpha. In terms of modes, this game has a story mode, but it has no gameplay. It's literally just a 4-hour cutscene, basically a CG anime movie, but it's still pretty good. It has cool fights and interesting characters, but it's quite long. I didn't watch it all in one go, I would have gotten bored. There's also an arcade mode which has cutscenes to do with the main story, but it also has actual fights, which is cool. Apart from that, there's a mode called MOM, or Mode of Medals, where you fight opponents to get medals or something. I never really played it that much, but apparently it's really good, so maybe I should play it more. It would have also been cool if they had a survival mode like in XX Accent Core Plus R, but they didn't. You can also go into this digital figure mode to display figures in different scenes and poses, and you can also fish to get items like figure poses. There's not that much to do, but the fun and variety of fighting keeps the game very fun and interesting. This game being 8, technically 10 years old, isn't super active, but I've played online a few times, and the players online are very good, and it's hard. This game also has some great music, and it's just super cool and stylish, so it's good and you should play it. Hi, welcome to my outro. Did you like the video? I thought it was okay, but none of my videos have really been that good so far. I am trying harder though. I want to try and put more jokes and entertaining stuff in my videos, so stay tuned for that. If you liked the video, you should subscribe for even more better content in the future. You should also like the video and leave a comment if you want, but you don't have to. Even if you didn't like the video, you should still subscribe because I'll make better videos in the future. You can also leave a comment to tell me what to improve and stuff, but just don't be too mean about it or I'll get sad. This video took a while to come out because halfway through editing, I started writing a bunch of other videos I wanted to make, but then I decided I should just finish this one and then move on to other projects. Also, if you want to give me some questions in the comments, you should do that because I might do a Q&A later if I get enough. For my next videos, I want to do some that aren't about games. I do like games and I'll make videos on them in the future, but there's a lot of other stuff I like too, so I want to make videos on that. I also haven't been playing that much games recently, except for Bayonetta 2, which I'm loving, because the combat is insanely fun, the music is great, and the cutscenes are so entertaining. It's just a really great game. I've also been playing some Breath of the Wild for the Let's Play, part 3 is coming soon by the way, but I've also been busy with college. In the far future, I might want to do some animation videos, since I really love drawing, but I don't think I'm at that skill level yet. I barely even animated before. I even have one scripted, but I'll put it in the later pile for now. Next video will probably be a Let's Play, then an AMV. But I'll probably do an anime review after that, because I've been saying I was going to do one for ages. If you're wondering, the anime I'm watching at the moment is Hunter x Hunter, and I'm really enjoying it, because there's a lot of great characters and interesting stuff just keeps happening. I really recommend it. My favourite character is Killua, by the way, he's so cool. Anyway, bye, thanks for watching.